This is the Alter of Slobadka number 6. He saw people individually. That's very, very obvious. But to say that he saw people individually, like we speak about people that give Eitzah Lefi the person, is really a far cry and Tzimtzum Atzum in what the Alter Slobadka was. And this is something I saw that, to make an Abramelya Kaplan and a Sri Deish who were Mayor Torah, the world in Germany, made the amazingly long journey from Lithuanian Judaism to Berlin Judaism, and together with that to make the Eretz Yisrael Dikei Gedolim, Rav Chatzkel Sarna and Rav Meir Chodesh, Rav Lezer Finkel from the Mir Yeshiva. That's individuals. And we see in America like Rav Aaron Cutler and Rav Ruderman, who we would call them perhaps classical Rosh Yeshiva, and Rav Hutner, who much more emphasized Machshava, is well known through his Sfar and Pachad Yitzchak, etc. Who had a Hasidic flair, was very different. Rav Aaron Cutler, really, we know from all that we learned about Rav Aaron, was far from a typical Rosh Yeshiva. He changed the world in so many ways, and so played outside of his yeshiva. These were all Talmidim of his, so obviously he was dealing with them in a very individual way, and he built them in the most amazing way. But it goes a lot deeper than that. This is something I discovered. I like to read from the Sefer Tnuas Musar, one famous book on the Musar, by Reb Dov Katz. Lo istapek bagarat sichot klali. It wasn't enough for the Alter to say general sichot, but he would speak to each and every individual on his own, and not in a general way, but he had a specific way that he dealt with each person. Lamatzav rucho umidas havanasa, according to who he was and his level of understanding. Chadar letoch toch nafsho kol echad. He went deeply into each Talmud. He checked their abilities. He tested what they believed. He niteach midosov. He did surgery, so to speak, on his characteristics, and he stood him up naked in front of him in all of his true mahus, as who he was, to see really who is this person. Now, even after all that, he didn't just give a general opinion, but he saw all the different angles of the person. Because there's no schus muchladin, is a person good or bad? A person has good things and bad things. In bad, he saw good, and good things, he saw bad things. So therefore, no one was out by him. Even the lowest Talmud were B'Tselem Elokim, and they had good things about them. And he didn't have preconceived notions on anybody. This is amazing. When every person would come into him, every time, he would check him out again, like the first time. He would check him with 7 tests, and he would look at the whole person, because a person's a Baal Bechira, and he has a chance to change. And the Alter was such a genius in Kochas HaNefesh, and is considered, that's what they call him, a Gon in Kochas HaNefesh. He could look into it. And he could pick up on the smallest change in the Talmud's situation, whether to good or to bad. And he would change his opinion about students based on that, until in a situation where no one else had recognized that. And then once he really understood a person, deeply, fully, with all of his mahus, and every time changing and checking and giving him a chance, he started to think about the person and to put into him life force, to awaken his seichel, and to get him thinking better, and to open up their emotions. He would think about each and every student, days and weeks, and come up with different ideas, how to be kona his heart, to draw him close to him, and to draw him close to Torah and God. And we'll give other examples of this next time. He would talk to them differently. Some he pushed away very, very much. Mamish strongly will give examples. And in other ones, Mamish was makar of them out of self, in a not normal way. Some he put down, and he broke their gaiva, and he showed them the bad studim of themselves, and they're people he built up and put up to the highest degree. And he showed them how great they were. And he would emphasize and exaggerate their amazing Maila. And some he did both. So that was a tremendous gaonus. So if a person does that, he's obviously going to, if he can pull it off, he can obviously matzliach. But the point for us is not to see individuals. We don't have the abilities and the depth of the altar. But I think the message to us and the methodology I would bring out here is, it's not enough just to say we're looking at people individually, but to understand what that really means to look at people individually, to really try to understand the person, to really look at their different aspects, to realize that they're good and bad aspects of the person, and to realize that they could change. And what was right at one person, whether we can do all the moves of the altar, I don't think we, humbly, I don't think none of us are as like him, but most people can't do. We'll see more examples. But to treat people individually and understand them and think what different people need at different times, that's something for sure that we can all do.